The first oath, voted on 14th of June, 1775, as part of creating the Continental Army, went like this. I, state your name, you all remember that part. We all got a kick out of that when we were going through the service, the Green Monster, I can remember that day. Have this day voluntarily enlisted myself as a soldier in the American Continental Army for 1 year, unless sooner discharged. And I do bind myself to conform in all instances to build such rules and regulations as are or shall be established for the government of the said Army. The original wording was effectively replaced by Section 3, Article 1 of the Articles of War, approved by Congress on the 20th of September, 1776. And they read this way. I, state your name, swear or affirm, as the case may be, to be true to the United States of America and to serve them honestly and faithfully against all their enemies, opposers, whatsoever, and to observe and obey the orders of the Continental Congress and the orders of the generals and the officers set over me by them. Now I'm going to skip forward just a bit because we'd be here for a few hours as I went through the various iterations of the enlistment oath, and I'm going to come to the current. This is the oath that I took, and many like me have taken this similar oath, and it reads this way. I, John Berman, how could you not get choked up? Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance the same, and that I will obey the orders of the President of the United States and the orders of the officers appointed over me, according to the regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So help me God. I took that oath in 8 August of '72. I was discharged on April 13th of 1982. And to this day, this very day, I have stayed constantly reminded of the importance of the oath that I took in that 10-year period. Just because I was discharged from the military does not mean that this oath doesn't apply to me today. And as your director here at the Source, and with all the effort that I can, I will abide by my pledge to serve you, our veterans, in every way possible so that you get the care you deserve in a community that loves you, and by staff that care very deeply about your health and well-being. I thank you for the opportunity to be here on this day to share my innermost feelings about how important an oath is, and the one that I took in 1972. Thank you very much.
It is my distinct privilege and honor to introduce to you a gentleman who has been a friend of veterans, certainly an advocate for this facility. As you drive around and you see all the new building and constructions going on, I'd like to introduce to you, please make welcome Congressman Greg Walden.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be with you today. And Director Berman, as you we talked about that oath, I thought of the one I take on behalf of the people of this district every 2 years if they send me back. And it too is to defend the Constitution. And I keep usually next to me a copy of that very document, along with a list of those who paid the ultimate sacrifice in the last few years from our district and our state. It's a constant reminder that we defend our Constitution because it's the basis of our freedom, and we always remember those who wear the nation's uniform and paid the ultimate sacrifice in defense of our way of life. I want to recognize our young people over here today, too. We haven't had a chance to talk. I don't know what school you're from, but I hope you appreciate how important it is to be here and and begin to learn about what it takes to keep Americans free. And that you should always respect our flag as it goes by, and move your hat, and raise your hand over your heart, and remember the men and women who wear these uniforms. Learn what they did to give us freedom. Because most places in the world aren't free like this. Most places in the world, young men and women like yourselves don't grow up. Freedom of speech and all the other freedoms accorded in our Constitution. So it's more than just a parade and candy that may get tossed someday. More than just a piece of cloth. Flag and what it represents, and the Constitution and what we value is so very, very important. So thanks for beginning that process to the instructors, the teachers, the families who brought you out. Remember this day and celebrate it every year. And thank the veterans. Thank the veterans family. Before you leave today, would you commit to do that? Find one person who has a uniform or a hat that says they're a veteran. You just go up to them and say, thank you. Or what are those?
These are bookmarks that the 3rd and 4th and Rhode Island Academy, we have a couple hundred here. So we definitely want to get a, it says, thank you for keeping us safe.
Oh, perfect. All right. How about a round of applause? You know, it is an honor to be back here. I get to the source. I get to the source before it was the source, when it was the dog. Over the years, and I was thinking today, I believe it was 10 years ago, when out of nowhere, the VA decided this was a facility that should basically be shut down. And I'll always remember that moment, and how irritated I was, because I've been with Anna and Max and others here over the years, and this facility always ranked at the very top of the Veterans Affairs own measurement scale. Best in quality, best in affordability, best in outcome, best in you name it. I remember calling the head of the VA at the time and saying, if it ranks top in every category, why isn't you put it on a list to close? And second, why do you bother to do the evaluation and the ranking? You know, you all turned out because we got them to do a hearing here. And by the time they were done, the head of the VA said, you know, we got a diamond in the rough there. We've got a program that should be replicated, not ended. And over the years, because of what happened in this community, this facility has continued to improve. There are new buildings being built, there's new care being offered. We still have a long way to go. But thank you for turning out and saving a great facility that provides incredible care to our men and women who wear the nation's uniform. You know, today we do celebrate Veterans Day. Originally known as Armistice Day, a day declared by Woodrow Wilson a year after the end of the German War, with the armistice that was declared November 11, 1919, a year later, ending that war, 94 years ago. Anybody 94 here? No, okay. So nobody was around for the first one, at least here. Although I did read today there's a 107-year-old veteran that's meeting with the president, which is pretty cool. He's not here, he must be somewhere else. Not only is the name of the commemoration changed from Armistice Day to Veterans Day, but a lot of other things in military life have changed too. From the end of World War I through World War II in Korea and even the start of the Vietnam War, our troops were principally young single men, with very few exceptions. Only troops who were married were senior enlisted and senior officers, and many here today may remember the old military saying. John Howard, retired Navy, said he remembers this, where they used to say if the military had wanted you to have a wife, they would have given you one in your foot locker. Or as he added, or sea bag for those of you who were sailors.
Yeah. And Marines.
And Marines, thank you. I'm Troy. Where's Troy? I must have been you, Troy.
Yes, sir.
Marine. He'll probably turn out okay later. Oh, man. Today our force, as you know, is somewhat older, much more often married, and has women serving in almost every military field. In fact, I've gotten to meet a woman who was first to a colonel from Arizona who led the first effort in the air in combat. And she is an amazing person. More than a third of our junior enlisted troops, 70% of our mid-grade enlisted troops, and 80% of senior enlisted are married. Approximately 14% of our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guard sailors are women. Now, these demographic changes have had a great impact on how the military and the VA conduct their business. For example, today, as in the past, our recruiters focus on bringing individuals into the service. But unlike in the past, they include families when it comes to the re-enlistment decision process. The services used to have wives clubs. Now they have spouses clubs. Today, almost every U.S. military installation has a fully certified child care center providing reduced rate care for service members' children. VA medical facilities like here at SORCC have implemented or greatly expanded their capacity to treat and programs for women veterans. In addition to these demographic changes, the tremendous advances in battlefield medicine have enabled more troops than ever to return home alive from the combat zone. But, as we all know, many of those returning home bring with them severe injuries like we've never seen before, both physical and mental. This has pushed both the military and the VA medical care to come up with new and innovative care protocols and care programs, which include programs for family members. Because you see, as you well know, family members are often the primary or secondary line of care for those who have served. Along with all these changes in the lives of today's veterans and their families, and the accompanying changes in the military and VA, we in Congress have worked passing legislation to make sure that those who have been wounded or injured, protecting our freedoms, are given the very best medical care possible. And we always have work to do in this area, and we will continue to improve. But it is our duty to their families and to the families of those who have made the ultimate sacrifice to ensure that they all are cared for. It's our duty to all veterans to make sure that when the firefights and battles are over, we remember their service. So while the faces and the experiences of our veterans have changed over the 94 years we've commemorated Veterans Day, our commitment to honor and remember those who have died in our nation's service and those who continue to serve must remain strong. If you think about it, even today, you pick up the paper. While we all know we have men and women in service across the globe, Afghanistan and elsewhere, we also know they're storming the beaches of the Philippines to help save lives in a peaceful way, because our military is called upon to do both. And that's what really is great about America. We're there for those